Have you ever imagined having everything you've ever dreamed of, a brilliant career, a luxury apartment, the respect of everyone around you, but feeling such a deep emptiness that you can barely breathe? This is the story of Yuna, a renowned obstetrician in Seoul who saved lives every single day, but couldn't save her own. For 7 years, she built a perfect fortress around herself. No one could get in. No one could see. Until Junho, her quiet and observant neighbor, began to notice the cracks in that impeccable facade. What he discovered would change them both forever. But some secrets are too heavy to carry alone, and revealing them could cost everything. Yuna is 32 years old and one of the most respected obstetricians at Gangnam University Hospital. Her minimalist apartment on the 14th floor reflects her life, organized, elegant, empty. She wakes up at 5:30 in the morning, follows a military routine, and avoids any interaction beyond the professional. The alarm pierces the silence of her bedroom. Before it can ring a second time, Yuna's hand shoots out and silences it. She sits up in bed, her movements mechanical, practiced. The same routine for 7 years. Shower at 5:35. Coffee at 5:50. Out the door at 6:15. No deviation. No surprises. Because surprises lead to mistakes, and mistakes lead to. She stops that thought before it can finish. At the hospital, she is admired. Cold, but competent. Distant, but brilliant. Her colleagues envy her. Her patients respect her. But no one really knows her. The automatic doors of the maternity ward slide open as Yuna walks through the corridors with measured steps. Her white coat is spotless, pressed to perfection. Her hair pulled back in a perfect bun, not a single strand out of place. Her face, an expressionless mask that she's spent years perfecting. Around her, nurses whisper compliments mixed with fear. She is the doctor everyone wants on their team, but no one wants to have coffee with. Dr. Park is incredible, a young nurse whispers to her colleague. She delivered triplets last week without breaking a sweat. Yeah, but have you ever seen her smile? The other responds. It's like she's made of ice. Yuna hears them. She always hears them. But she doesn't react. Reactions are vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities lead to connections. Connections lead to pain. In the delivery room, Yuna is a machine. Precise. Calculated. When a patient screams in pain, she doesn't flinch. When a newborn cries for the first time, she doesn't smile. She simply does her job, removes her gloves, and moves on to the next case. Today, she's delivering twins. The mother is young, terrified, crying for her husband who couldn't make it in time. Yuna's hands move with absolute certainty, guiding the first baby into the world. The infant's cry fills the room. The nurses cheer. The mother sobs with relief. But Yuna sees something else. For a split second, she sees another delivery room. Another woman. Her sister's face, pale and frightened, saying, "I trust you, Yuni. I know you'll keep us safe." Yuna blinks. The vision disappears. She delivers the second twin. Both healthy. Both perfect. The mother is crying, reaching for her babies. The nurses are congratulating each other. And Yuna feels nothing but the familiar hollow ache in her chest. She strips off her gloves, disposes of them, and walks out without a word. Her colleague, Dr. Miho, catches her in the hallway. He's been working at the hospital for 3 years, always friendly, always trying to break through her walls. Yuna. Amazing work in there. Those twins are perfect. They're healthy, she corrects, not breaking her stride. There's no such thing as perfect. Come on, Miho laughs, falling into step beside her. You never take a compliment. Listen, the whole team is going out for dinner tonight. It's Dr. Kim's birthday. You should come. Just one drink. You don't even have to stay long. She doesn't even look up from the medical chart she's reviewing. I have surgery scheduled early tomorrow. maybe another time. It's always, maybe another time. And Miho, like everyone else, has learned that, maybe, means, never. One of these days, he says, more to himself than to her, you're going to say yes, and we're all going to faint from shock. Yuna doesn't respond. She turns into her office and closes the door, leaning against it for just a moment. Through the small window, she can see the team gathering, laughing, planning their night out. Normal people living normal lives. She used to be one of them. Once. At lunch, Yuna eats alone in her office. A salad from the hospital cafeteria, always the same one. She scrolls through her phone, not really seeing anything. Her family's group chat is still there, muted for 7 years. 342 unread messages. She's never deleted it. Never left it. Just muted it and pretended it doesn't exist. Her finger hovers over it. She could open it. See what she's missed. Birthdays. Holidays. Her parents' anniversary. Her brother-in-law remarrying, maybe. Moving on. Living lives that she's no longer part of. She locks her phone and pushes the salad away, no longer hungry. At night, Yuna returns home and sits on the balcony with a glass of wine, staring at the illuminated horizon of Seoul. Always alone. Always in silence. The city lights twinkle below like fallen stars, but she feels nothing. Just the cold glass in her hand and the weight in her chest that never goes away. Her apartment is pristine. White walls. Minimalist furniture. Everything in its place. There are no photographs on the walls. No personal touches. No memories. It looks like a showroom, not a home. Because if it doesn't feel like home, she can pretend she's just passing through. That this emptiness is temporary. The balcony has become her sanctuary and her prison. Every night, she sits in the same chair, drinks the same wine, watches the same city. The routine is comforting. Predictable. Safe. Tonight, the sky is clear. Rare for Seoul. She can actually see a few stars struggling against the city's light pollution. She remembers when she was young, her sister would drag her outside to watch meteor showers. They'd lie on the grass in their backyard in Busan, making wishes on shooting stars. "What did you wish for?" her sister would always ask. "I can't tell you, or it won't come true," Yuna would respond, laughing. "I wished for you to be the best doctor in the world," her sister would say. "So you can deliver my babies someday." Yuna's hand tightens around the wine glass. She drains it in one gulp and pours another. Junho lives in the apartment next door. He is a freelance architect, 35 years old, divorced for 2 years. He works from home, observes a lot, speaks little. He notices Yuna every day, the way she never smiles, how she avoids making eye contact with neighbors in the elevator, how her balcony is always lit until late at night. Junho's divorce was amicable, as these things go. His ex-wife wanted children. He wasn't ready. By the time he was ready, she was gone. No drama. No fighting. Just a quiet ending to what had once been a loud love. Now he designs buildings from his home office, occasionally meeting clients in cafes. He likes the solitude. Or at least, he's gotten used to it. His apartment is comfortable, lived in. Books everywhere. Architectural models on shelves. His balcony is cluttered with plants he keeps trying, and failing, to keep alive. Sometimes, when he's on his own balcony, attempting to water his dying succulents, he sees her. The woman next door. Always in the same chair. Always with wine. Always staring at nothing. He wonders what could make someone so beautiful look so broken. He's tried the polite neighbor approach. A wave in the elevator. A "good morning" in the parking garage. She responds with the bare minimum. A nod. A tight-lipped "hello." Then she's gone, disappearing into her apartment like she's being chased. Junho knows that kind of running. He did it himself after the divorce. The isolation that feels safe until one day you realize you can't remember the last time you had a real conversation. One evening, he's working late on a design for a children's hospital. The irony isn't lost on him, designing spaces for new life while living like a ghost. He steps out onto the balcony for fresh air and sees her. She's crying. Silently, tears streaming down her face, but making no sound. Like she's afraid someone might hear. He wants to say something. Do something. But he knows that pain. The kind that needs to be private before it can be shared. So he goes back inside and makes a decision. Tomorrow, he'll try again. Not to fix her. Not to save her. Just to let her know that someone sees her. One day, as he exits the elevator, Junho hears a muffled sound coming from Yuna's apartment. Crying. A contained, desperate cry, as if she were suffocating. It's raw and painful, the sound of someone who's been holding it in for far too long. He hesitates at her door, his hand raised to knock. The sound stops suddenly, replaced by complete silence. He can picture her in there, hand over her mouth, forcing the sobs back down, terrified that someone heard. He doesn't knock. Not yet. He returns to his apartment, but the sound haunts him all night. He lies awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence from next door that feels louder than any scream. The next morning, Junho makes 2 cups of coffee. He places one outside her door with a simple note, "For a tough Monday." 14:03. When he checks an hour later, the coffee is gone. 2 days later, there's a note under his door, "Thank you." 14:02. It's not much. But it's a start. A violent storm hits Seoul. The power in the building goes out at night. Yuna is on the balcony when lightning illuminates the sky. She flinches. Her hands tremble. The rain pounds against the glass like accusations she can't silence. Thunder rumbles, deep and ominous. The city below goes dark in sections, a power grid struggling against nature's fury. Yuna grips the railing, her knuckles white. She hates storms. Has hated them since that night 7 years ago when she got the call about her sister. Thunder had rolled then too, drowning out her screams when she realized what she'd done. Another lightning strike. Closer this time. The boom shakes the building. Yuna's breathing becomes shallow, rapid. Panic rising in her throat like bile. Suddenly, the balcony door of the apartment next door opens. It's Junho. "Are you okay?" he asks, his calm voice cutting through the noise of the rain and her spiraling thoughts. Yuna turns, surprised. No one has asked her that in years. No one has cared enough to notice when she's not okay. "I'm fine," she replies, dryly, trying to hide the tremor in her voice and her hands. Junho doesn't believe her. He can see it in the way she grips the railing, knuckles white. In the way her chest rises and falls too quickly. In the way she won't meet his eyes. "The power should be back in a few hours. I have extra candles if you need them." She shakes her head, mouth opening to refuse, but another crack of thunder makes her jump. For a second, the mask slips, and Junho sees real fear in her eyes. "It's just a storm," he says gently. Nothing more. Just noise and light. Something about the way he says it, not dismissive, not patronizing, just matter of fact, makes Yuna's breathing slow slightly. "I should go inside," she says, but she doesn't move. "The rain is beautiful from up here," Junho says, leaning against his own railing. "When I was a kid, my grandmother used to say that storms were just the sky crying. Getting rid of all the sadness so the sun could come back." Yuna looks at him properly for the first time. Really looks. He's not trying to fix her. Not offering empty platitudes. Just standing there in the rain, sharing space. "That's a nice story," she says quietly. "She was a nice woman," Junho replies. "Wrong about a lot of things, but she had her moments." The corner of Yuna's mouth twitches. Not quite a smile, but something close to it. The first in 7 years. They stand there in the storm, on separate balconies, not speaking. But somehow, in that silence, something shifts. A bridge starts to form over the gap between their worlds. When the power comes back on an hour later, Yuna finds a small bag hanging on her door handle. 3 candles, a box of matches, and a note, just in case. Your neighbor who can't keep plants alive. That night, she lights one of the candles. Just to see. The flame flickers in the dark, casting dancing shadows on her white walls. It's the first warm light in her apartment in years. In the following days, small encounters become routine. Junho leaves a coffee at her door in the morning, always with a different silly note. Fuel for saving lives, 1403. Monday survival juice, your plant-killing neighbor. I made too much. Waste not. J. Yuna finds herself looking forward to them. She starts leaving notes back. Brief at first. Just, thank you. Then slightly longer. The coffee helps. Why? Then, daringly, your plants are salvageable. Try less water. 1402. One morning, she finds a photo under her door. A succulent, clearly dying, with a note, patient prognosis. Dr. Junho. Despite herself, Yuna laughs. Actually laughs. The sound surprises her so much that she claps her hand over her mouth. When was the last time she laughed? She takes a photo of her own small jade plant, thriving on her windowsill, the only living thing in her apartment, and slides it under his door with a note, there's hope. Follow the light. Dr. Park. The next day, there's an invitation. Handwritten on nice paper. Dinner. I promise my cooking is better than my plant parenting. Friday, 7 p.m., 1403. No pressure. Junho. Yuna stares at it for 3 days. It sits on her counter, a small white rectangle that feels like a grenade. She picks it up a dozen times, starts to tear it, stops. Acceptance means letting someone in. Letting someone in means risk. Risk means potential pain. But the alternative is another Friday night alone on the balcony, watching the city, feeling nothing. On Friday, at 6:58 p.m., Yuna stands outside apartment 1403. She's changed clothes 3 times. Settled on simple, jeans and a sweater. Casual. Not trying too hard. She raises her hand to knock, hesitates, lowers it. Raises it again. The door opens before she can decide. Junho stands there, smiling, an apron tied around his waist that says, "Kiss the architect." I heard you pacing, he says. Thought I'd save you the agony of knocking. I wasn't pacing, Yuna says automatically. You were definitely pacing. Come in. The pasta is almost ready. The dinner is simple. Junho cooks homemade pasta with a tomato basil sauce that smells like comfort. They talk about mundane things, work, soul, the weather. But there's something more there. A silent connection. A mutual understanding of loneliness. The apartment smells of garlic and tomatoes and fresh bread. Soft jazz plays in the background, Miles Davis, melancholy and smooth. Junho moves around the kitchen with ease, comfortable in his own space. His apartment is so different from hers. Lived in. Warm. Books stacked on every surface. Architectural sketches pinned to a massive board. Plants in various stages of survival lined up on the windowsill. You weren't kidding about the plants, Yuna says, examining a particularly sad-looking fern. I have a gift, Junho says, draining the pasta. A gift for killing green things. It's very specialized. Why do you keep trying? Hope. He shrugs, plating the food. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. Or maybe I like the company, even if they don't last long. There's something in the way he says it that makes Yuna think he's not just talking about plants. They sit at the small table. The pasta is delicious, better than any restaurant Yuna's been to in years. Not that she goes to restaurants. But still. This is really good, she says. My ex-wife taught me, Junho replies. Before everything fell apart, we used to cook together. It's one of the few good things I kept from that relationship. What happened? Yuna asks, then immediately regrets it. Sorry. That's too personal. No, it's okay. Junho twirls his pasta thoughtfully. She wanted kids. I wasn't ready. By the time I figured out I wanted them too, she'd moved on. Met someone else. Someone who was ready. They have a baby now. A little girl. That must be hard. It was, Junho admits. For a while, I was angry. Then I was just, empty. But you learn to live with it. The empty feeling. It becomes familiar. Yuna puts her fork down, her hands shaking slightly. Yes, she whispers. It does. They look at each other across the table. Two broken people recognizing their reflection in someone else. Why do you live alone? Junho asks gently. Yuna's face freezes. She picks up her fork again, then puts it down. Picks up her wine glass, then sets it back. Her hands don't know what to do with themselves. Because it's easier this way, she replies, the walls slamming back up. Her voice goes cold, clinical. The doctor mask back in place. Junho doesn't push. He recognizes a boundary when he sees one. But he feels it. There's something deep, painful, hidden beneath those words. A wound that hasn't healed. They eat in silence for a while, but it's not uncomfortable. It's the silence of two people who understand that some things can't be rushed. Thank you for coming, Junho says when they're finished. I know it probably wasn't easy. It wasn't, Yuna admits. Then, surprising herself, adds, but I'm glad I did. When Yuna leaves that night, she pauses at the door. Thank you for dinner, she says, still not meeting his eyes. Anytime, Junho replies. And he means it. Really? Anytime. As Yuna walks the 5 steps back to her own apartment, she realizes something strange. For the first time in 7 years, she doesn't feel entirely alone. Weeks pass. Junho and Yuna become something. Not friends. Not lovers. Something undefined, floating in the space between. She begins to trust him, little by little. Small conversations in the hallway become longer. Coffee in the morning becomes coffee together on weekends. They start watching cooking shows together on Friday nights, Junho attempting recipes while Yuna supervises with medical precision. You're adding too much salt, she says one evening, peering over his shoulder. I'm the cook here, Junho protests. You're just the plant consultant. Your patient is going into cardiac arrest from sodium overdose. Junho laughs and reduces the salt. The dish turns out perfect. They fall into a rhythm. Junho is teaching her about architecture, how buildings tell stories, how spaces can heal or harm. Yuna is teaching him about medicine, not the clinical parts, but the human parts. How to read fear in someone's eyes. How to offer comfort with silence. One Saturday, they visit a botanical garden. Junho's attempt to understand why his plants keep dying. Yuna finds herself relaxed, almost happy, walking through the greenhouse full of orchids. The air is humid and warm, smelling of earth and growth. Maybe you're trying too hard, Yuna suggests, watching him take notes on plant care. Sometimes things survive better when you give them space. Is that what you need? Junho asks. Space? Yuna considers this. I've had 7 years of space. Maybe I need something different now. That night, they have dinner on Junho's balcony. The city spreads below them, a million lights hiding a million stories. Junho has cooked samgyeopsal, and they grill the meat slowly, talking about everything and nothing. Tell me about your divorce, Yuna says suddenly. Junho looks surprised but doesn't deflect. It was quiet. That was the worst part. Not the ending itself, but how quiet it was. We just stopped. Stopped talking, stopped touching, stopped trying. One day she said she wanted a divorce, and I said okay. No fighting. No drama. Just, done. Do you regret it? I regret not fighting harder. Not for the marriage, that was already gone, but for myself. I let her walk away thinking I didn't care. But I did. I just didn't know how to show it anymore. Yuna nods slowly. I understand that. The not knowing how to show what you feel. It's like forgetting a language you used to speak fluently. Exactly, Junho says. What language did you forget? Yuna is quiet for a long moment. The meat sizzles on the grill. The city hums below. And finally, she speaks. Joy. I forgot how to feel joy. One night, after an exhausting shift, Yuna arrives home and finds Junho on his balcony. He's looking at the sky, a beer in his hand. The city below is a sea of lights, but above, a few stars manage to break through the light pollution. Yuna steps onto her own balcony. They don't speak for several minutes, just existing in parallel solitude. Do you have family? He finally asks, without looking at her. The silence is heavy. Suffocating. The question hangs in the air like smoke. I had, she finally responds. Her voice sounds strange to her own ears. Distant. Like it belongs to someone else. Junho turns. His eyes are kind, but penetrating. He sets down his beer and faces her fully. What happened? Yuna takes a deep breath. The tears begin to fall before she even realizes they're coming, silent and hot against her cold cheeks. She doesn't sob. Doesn't make a sound. Just lets them fall like rain. 7 years ago, my younger sister was pregnant. She was 26. So young. So excited. Yuna's voice cracks but she pushes forward. She had complications. Preeclampsia. High risk. She needed the best care possible. She needed someone she could trust. The words are coming faster now, years of suppression breaking like a dam. I was her doctor. She insisted on it. Said she wouldn't let anyone else deliver her baby. I was in charge. I had done hundreds of deliveries. I was good at my job. The best, they said. Her laugh is bitter, broken. I made a mistake. Just one. A wrong call. I waited too long to do the C-section. I thought I could manage it naturally. I thought I knew better. Junho doesn't move, doesn't interrupt. He just listens. She died on the delivery table. Hemorrhaging. I tried to save her. I did everything right after that initial mistake, but it was too late. And the baby, her voice breaks completely. The baby didn't make it either. My nephew. I never got to meet him. He was going to be named Miho, after our grandfather. The world seems to stop. Even the city noise fades away. My parents blamed me. How could they not? I was the doctor. The one in control. My brother-in-law blamed me. He couldn't even look at me at the funeral. I stood there, watching them bury my sister and her son, and no one would stand next to me. I was alone in a crowd of grieving people, and they all hated me. She's shaking now, her whole body trembling with 7 years of grief. I blamed myself. Still do. Every single day. I ran away. Changed cities, hospitals, my entire life. I built this person you see now, perfect, untouchable, cold. Because if no one touches me, no one can hurt me again. And if I don't let myself feel, then I can't feel the guilt that's eating me alive. Her breath comes in short gasps now, years of suppressed pain finally breaking free. Every baby I deliver, I see her. Every mother who survives, I think, why couldn't I save my own sister? Why did I fail the one person who trusted me most? She said, I know you'll keep us safe, Yuna. Those were her last words before the anesthesia. I know you'll keep us safe. And I didn't. I killed her. I killed my sister and her baby. Junho crosses the space between their balconies. There's a small gap, barely 2 feet, meant for maintenance access. He steps across it without hesitation and pulls Yuna into his arms. She resists at first, going rigid, but he doesn't let go. Just holds her, steady and strong, until she breaks. Really breaks. 7 years of tears that she never allowed herself to shed come pouring out. She sobs into his chest, her hands clutching his shirt, making sounds she's never made before, raw, animal sounds of pure grief. You don't have to carry this alone, he whispers into her hair. I killed them, she gasps between sobs. I killed them. No, Junho says firmly. You made a decision. A medical decision. Sometimes people die even when doctors do everything right. Sometimes there's no right answer, only terrible choices. That doesn't make you a murderer. It makes you human. They'll never forgive me. Maybe not. But that doesn't mean you don't deserve forgiveness. It doesn't mean you have to live in this prison forever. Yuna cries until she has nothing left. Until her throat is raw and her eyes are swollen and her chest aches from the force of it. And Junho just holds her, steady and silent, until the storm inside her begins to calm. When she finally pulls back, she can't look at him. She's embarrassed, exposed, vulnerable in a way she hasn't been in years. I'm sorry, she whispers. Don't, Junho says. Don't apologize for being human. For feeling. You've been punishing yourself for 7 years. Maybe it's time to stop. I don't know how. Then maybe, he says gently, it's time to learn. That night, Yuna doesn't go back to her apartment. She falls asleep on Junho's couch, emotionally exhausted, while he sits in a chair nearby, keeping watch. Making sure she's not alone. For the first time in 7 years, Yuna sleeps through the night without nightmares. Over the next few weeks, something shifts. Yuna starts talking about her sister. Small things at first. How she loved strawberry ice cream. How she sang off-key in the shower. How she always wore mismatched socks because she said life was too short for matching. Junho listens to every story, collecting pieces of a person he'll never meet but comes to care about through Yuna's memories. She would have liked you, Yuna says one evening. She always said I needed someone who could make me laugh. I was too serious, even then. What was her name? Junho asks. Yuna hasn't said her name out loud in 7 years. Hasn't even let herself think it most days. Sora, she whispers. Her name was Sora. Saying it feels like opening a window in a room that's been sealed too long. Painful, but necessary. Junho takes Yuna's hand. Tell me about her. Tell me everything. And she does. For the first time in 7 years, Yuna talks about her sister. The good parts, the beautiful parts, not just the tragic ending. She talks about their childhood in Busan, swimming in the ocean, eating tteokbokki from street vendors. She talks about Sora's wedding, how beautiful she looked, how happy. She talks about the day Sora told her she was pregnant, how they both cried with joy. She wanted you to be the godmother, Yuna says. And the doctor. She trusted me completely. And I. You loved her, Junho interrupts. That's what matters. Not the ending. The love. Yuna wants to believe him. She's not there yet, but she wants to be. A few days later, Junho suggests something radical. Come with me to Busan. Face them. Face your family. Yuna's immediate reaction is panic. No. I can't. They won't want to see me. Maybe not, Junho agrees. But you want to see them. I can tell. You miss them. They hate me. They lost a daughter. You lost a sister. Maybe they miss you too and don't know how to reach out. Maybe everyone is trapped in their own grief, waiting for someone to make the first move. Yuna is terrified. But she's also tired. So tired of running. So tired of being alone. So tired of carrying this weight. Will you come with me? She asks. I'm already packing, Junho says. Yuna decides to face the past. With Junho by her side, she travels to Busan, where her family still lives. The train ride takes 3 hours, but it feels like traveling back in time. Every kilometer closer to her childhood home brings back memories she buried deep. She remembers taking this same train route with Sora when they were teenagers, going to Seoul for a concert. Sora had been so excited, bouncing in her seat, driving Yuna crazy. Now the seat next to her holds Junho, quiet and supportive, his hand in hers. You can change your mind, he says. We can get off at the next stop and go back. No, Yuna says, though her voice shakes. I need to do this. I should have done it years ago. The house is exactly as she remembered. A traditional Korean home with a small garden in front. The persimmon tree her father planted when she was born still stands in the yard, heavy with fruit no one has picked. The paint on the door is faded. The garden is overgrown. It looks like grief feels, neglected, withered, forgotten. Yuna stands at the gate for a full 5 minutes before she can make herself walk up the path. Junho stays behind, giving her space, but close enough if she needs him. Her father opens the door. He's aged a decade in 7 years. His hair is completely gray now, his face etched with deep lines. His eyes widen when he sees her, emotions flashing across his face, shock, pain, anger, something else she can't quite read. What do you want? He asks, coldly. But his voice cracks on the last word. I came to ask for forgiveness, Yuna replies, her voice firm but broken. I came to stop running. Her father doesn't respond. Doesn't move. Just stands there, blocking the doorway like a wall. Her mother appears in the background, wiping her hands on an apron. When she sees Yuna, she makes a sound, half gasp, half sob, and covers her mouth with both hands. Her eyes fill with tears instantly. There's a portrait on the wall behind them, Yuna can see it through the doorway. Sora, smiling, pregnant, her hand resting on her belly. Forever frozen in that moment of joy before everything fell apart. Next to it, a smaller frame. The ultrasound. The baby who never got to be born. Can I come in? Yuna asks. Her father still hasn't moved. Finally, he steps aside. Not welcoming, but not rejecting either. Yuna walks into her childhood home for the first time in 7 years. Nothing has changed. The same furniture. The same pictures. Even the same kitchen smell, doenjang and garlic. But everything feels different. Heavier. Sadder. They sit in the living room. Her mother brings tea with shaking hands. No one speaks. The silence is suffocating. Yuna's father finally breaks it. His voice is harsh, angry, but underneath she can hear the pain. Do you know what it's like to bury your daughter and grandchild on the same day? He asks. Do you? Every single day, Yuna whispers. I live with it every single day. We called you, her mother says, her voice barely audible. After the funeral. Every day for months. You never answered. I couldn't, Yuna says. I couldn't face what I'd done. So you left us, her father says, and now the anger breaks through. You killed our daughter and then you left us alone with our grief. You weren't the only one who lost Sora. We lost her too. And we lost you. I know, Yuna says, tears streaming down her face. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her mother is crying now too, quiet tears that won't stop falling. I tried so hard to save her, Yuna says, her voice breaking. You have to believe me. I did everything I could. I followed every protocol. I made one wrong call, just one, about timing the C-section. I thought I had more time. I thought I could manage it naturally. I thought, she can barely speak through the sobs now. I thought I knew better. And I was wrong. And she died because I was wrong. You should have been more careful, her father says, but his voice has lost its edge. She was my daughter. She was my sister, Yuna cries. She was my little sister and I loved her more than anything. I was supposed to protect her. That's what big sisters do. And I failed. Silence falls again. But this time it's different. Less hostile. More exhausted. Her mother speaks, her voice trembling. The doctor, the one who reviewed the case after, he said that Sora's condition was unpredictable. That even with the C-section earlier, there was no guarantee. That sometimes, no matter what you do, you can't save everyone. Yuna looks up, shocked. You spoke to another doctor? We needed to understand, her mother says. We needed to know if it was really your fault. If we were right to blame you. And? Yuna can barely breathe. He said you made a judgment call. That hindsight is perfect, but in the moment, with the information you had, your decision was reasonable. He said that Sora had a rare complication that develops rapidly. That even the best doctors miss it sometimes. This is new information. Information Yuna never sought because she was too consumed by guilt to question it. But I should have seen it, Yuna insists. I should have known. Maybe, her father says quietly. Or maybe you're just human. Maybe we've all been so angry at you that we forgot you're human too. Her mother sets down her teacup and looks at Yuna directly for the first time. We lost them both that day, she says. Your sister and you. You were our daughter too. Our firstborn. And we were so consumed by grief that we pushed you away when you needed us most. We blamed you because we needed someone to blame. Because blaming you was easier than accepting that sometimes terrible things just happen. The words hang in the air, heavy with regret. I dream about her, Yuna confesses. Every night. She's on the delivery table and she's looking at me, trusting me, and I'm trying to save her but I can't. And she keeps saying, I know you'll keep us safe, Yuni, over and over, and I wake up screaming because I couldn't. I couldn't keep them safe. Her mother stands up suddenly and crosses the room. She pulls Yuna into her arms, the first time she's touched her daughter in 7 years. Yuna collapses into the embrace, sobbing like a child. I'm sorry, her mother whispers, over and over. I'm so sorry we made you carry this alone. Her father sits rigidly in his chair, his jaw clenched, fighting his own tears. Finally, he speaks. Sora loved you, he says. More than anyone. You were her hero. She bragged about you constantly. My sister the doctor. My sister who saves lives. If she were here. His voice breaks. If she were here, she would hate that we drove you away. She would hate that we made you suffer like this. I miss her, Yuna sobs. I miss her so much. We all do, her father says. And finally, he starts to cry too. They sit together, the three of them, crying for the daughter and sister they lost. For the grandson they never met. For the 7 years they wasted in anger and isolation. For all the birthdays and holidays and ordinary days they could have shared if grief hadn't built walls between them. It's not forgiveness. Not yet. But it's something. A crack in the wall. A possibility. Will you stay for dinner? Her mother asks eventually, wiping her eyes. Yuna nods, unable to speak. And your friend? Her mother asks, glancing toward the door where Junho has been waiting patiently outside. He's important to me, Yuna says. Her father nods slowly. Then bring him in. Anyone important to you is welcome in this house. Junho comes inside, and they sit down to a meal that's awkward and painful but also healing. They talk about small things. Safe things. The weather. The persimmon tree. Her father's retirement. Her mother's garden. But then, slowly, they start talking about Sora. Her mother shares a story about Sora's childhood. Her father laughs, actually laughs, remembering something silly Sora did as a teenager. And Yuna contributes her own memories. They spend hours at the table, talking and crying and sometimes even laughing. Remembering Sora not just as the tragedy that ended her life, but as the vibrant, joyful person she was. When it's time to leave, her mother holds Yuna's hands tightly. Come back, she whispers. Please. Don't wait another 7 years. Come back next month. And the month after that. Let us be a family again, even if it's a broken one. Yuna nods, tears in her eyes. I will. I promise. Her father walks them to the gate. Before Yuna can leave, he pulls her into a brief, awkward hug. It's stiff and uncomfortable, but it's real. I don't know if I can forgive you, he says honestly. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I want to try. For Sora. She would want us to try. That's enough, Yuna says. That's more than enough. The train ride back to Seoul is quiet. Yuna leans against Junho's shoulder, emotionally drained but somehow lighter. Like she's been carrying a boulder and finally set it down. Thank you, she says. For making me do that. You did that yourself, Junho replies. I just rode the train. It's not fixed, Yuna says. We're not suddenly okay. But it's a start. Sometimes a start is all you need. Back in Seoul, Yuna and Junho are on the balcony. The city spreads before them, alive and indifferent to their small human dramas. But something has changed. The air feels different. Lighter. Full of possibility. For the first time in 7 years, Yuna smiles. Not the small, pained twist of lips from before. A real smile. One that reaches her eyes. Thank you, she says again. For what? Junho asks. For seeing me when I didn't want to be seen. For not running away when you discovered how broken I was. For showing me that carrying pain alone doesn't make you strong, it just makes you alone. For reminding me that I'm human, not a monster. Junho takes her hand. His palm is warm against her cold fingers. We're all broken, he says softly. The trick is finding someone whose broken pieces fit with yours. Yuna looks at him, really looks at him, and sees not just a neighbor or a friend, but someone who understands. Someone who sees all of her, the good and the terrible, and stays anyway. I think I'm falling in love with you, she says. The words surprise her as much as they surprise him. Junho smiles. I think I fell in love with you the first time I heard you crying. When I realized there was a real person under that perfect mask. Someone vulnerable and scared and so strong for still getting up every morning. They kiss then, gentle and tentative, like two people learning a new language. It's not passionate or desperate. It's soft and careful and full of promise. When they pull apart, Yuna is crying again. But this time, they're not tears of grief. What are these for? Junho asks, wiping them away gently. Hope, Yuna says. I'm crying because I feel hope for the first time in 7 years. They stand there, side by side, looking at the city. There's still pain. There are still scars that may never fully heal. The ghosts of the past haven't disappeared. Yuna will still have nightmares. She'll still see Sora in every delivery room. The guilt won't magically vanish. But now, there's something else too. Something Yuna thought she'd never feel again. There's a future. The balcony door to her apartment is no longer locked every night. The lights don't burn alone until 3 in the morning anymore. And when she delivers babies now, she still sees her sister. But she also sees the miracle of life continuing. Of second chances. Of healing that happens slowly, painfully, but surely. Yuna returns to Busan once a month. The conversations are still difficult. Her father still struggles to look at her sometimes. There are dinners where no one knows what to say, where the silence is heavy with everything they can't voice. But they're trying. All of them. Trying to be a family again, scarred but together. Her mother starts calling her every week. Just to talk. About nothing important. The weather. The garden. What she's cooking for dinner. Normal mother-daughter things that Yuna thought she'd lost forever. On what would have been Sora's 33rd birthday, they visit her grave together. All 3 of them. Yuna brings flowers, white chrysanthemums, Sora's favorite. Her mother cries. Her father stands stoically, jaw tight. And Yuna talks to the gravestone like her sister can hear. I'm sorry it took me so long to visit, she says. I'm sorry for a lot of things. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to live in a way that would make you proud. I think you'd like Junho. He's kind, like you were. He sees the best in people, like you did. I wish you could have met him. Her father puts his hand on her shoulder. Says nothing. But the gesture says everything. And Junho? He's still there. Always there. On the balcony next door. Sometimes on her balcony. His quiet presence a reminder that she doesn't have to carry everything alone anymore. They build a life together, slowly. No dramatic declarations. No rushing. Just coffee in the mornings. Dinners on Friday nights. Shared silences that feel comfortable instead of empty. He teaches her to laugh again. She teaches him that broken things can still be beautiful. 6 months after that first trip to Busan, Junho's ex-wife calls him. She wants him to meet her daughter. To be part of her life, even if he's not her father. It's painful, but he goes, and Yuna goes with him. They both learn that healing isn't linear. That some days are harder than others. But they face them together. Yuna starts therapy. Really starts, not just going through the motions. She talks about Sora. About the guilt. About the 7 years of isolation. About learning to forgive herself. Do you think you'll ever fully forgive yourself? Her therapist asks. I don't know, Yuna admits. But I think I'm learning to live with it. To accept that I'm human. That I made a mistake. That it doesn't define everything I am. That's progress, the therapist says. And it is. Some secrets are too heavy for one person to carry alone. But shared between 2, they become bearable. Shared among family willing to try, they become lighter still. And sometimes, in the right circumstances, with the right people, they can even become the foundation for something new. Something like redemption. Something like healing. Something like love. Yuna still thinks about Sora every day. Still has nightmares sometimes. Still feels the weight of that loss in quiet moments. But she also laughs now. She also hopes. She also lives. And on clear nights, when the stars are visible above Seoul's light pollution, she sits on the balcony with Junho, holding his hand, and she feels something she thought was lost forever. Peace. Not perfect. Not complete. But real. What are you thinking about? Junho asks one such night. That Sora would have liked this, Yuna says. You and me. The second chance. She always believed in second chances. Then we'll live it for her, Junho says. Live enough for both of you. Yuna nods, tears in her eyes. But she's smiling too. Yes, she says. For both of us. The city lights twinkle below them like promises. And for the first time in 7 years, Yuna believes in promises again. So, what about you? What did you think of Yuna's journey? Do you think she did the right thing by facing her past, or should she have left everything buried? Was her family right to blame her, or were they wrong? Could you forgive someone in that situation? And what about Junho? Do you think love can really heal old wounds, or is it more complicated than that? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinion in the comments below. Tell me if you've ever had to face something painful from your past. Tell me if you believe in second chances. Tell me your story. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have so many more stories coming, stories about love and loss, pain and healing, mistakes and redemptions. Stories that will make you think, make you feel, make you remember that we're all human. All broken. All trying our best. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end. Thank you for letting me share Yuna's story with you. Thank you for being part of this community where we can talk about real things, painful things, important things. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And remember, it's never too late for a second chance. Take care.